Mr. Yu, right off the bat, what's the most profound lesson you've been taught about purpose?
Most profound lesson regarding purpose. Never stop seeking it. Everybody that I have a conversation with about purpose, and it's really been nearly almost a 30-year journey in this, where I talk about this particular topic on multiple occasions everywhere. It seems like the people who are the most distressed and the most distraught are the ones that have stopped looking. They kind of settle into their careers or some particular talent they have and say, "Oh, this must be it. This must be what's going to make me viable and relevant." But when you stop seeking, something kind of dies inside. So my lesson, I think, is never stop seeking it. It may not be what we thought it was. It may be something so minuscule and so subtle that we don't even realize that it's that. But always keep seeking and never settle in for the world around us offers. So I think it's probably the biggest lesson for me regarding purpose.
There's a lot of debate and confusion around the topic of purpose. In fact, one of the few things people agree on is that life is much better when you live with a purpose. Maybe you haven't thought on your purpose much. Maybe you aren't quite sure what your purpose is. There's a lot of people in that boat, actually. A lot of people think you have one God given purpose and you'll eventually discover it. Just think about the story of Noah building a boat for years and years and years, and people making fun of him because no one understood what he was doing or what this huge thing was or why you would need it until it started to rain. Kind of like that. Some people think you create your own purpose, but what if none of that is right? I mean, that's why you're here talking about purpose, because you're not really sure. I think you have a gift. I think you have a gift that you can use to serve a purpose. Now, I talk about purpose a lot here on this podcast, but what if I'm wrong? What if? Well, today we're talking to Yusef Marshall, aka the incredible Mr. Yu, who has been talking about men and purpose longer than I have, even. And Yusuf has a slightly different take than even I have. And since he's been talking to men about it a lot longer than I have, I thought it would be valuable for you guys for us to deep dive into men and purpose together with someone who's been talking about this even longer than I have, so you can get his point of view as well as mine. We're going to get to know Mr. Yu a little bit, and then we're going to deep dive into men and purpose right after this word from our sponsor. Gents, as you know, our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of their life. He didn't stop by simply creating the very best pillow in the world. Mike created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me and for you, which is crucial for that busy schedule. Mike is offering the best deal on his Giza Dream bed sheets that he's ever offered. Any size, any color, just $49.98. That's right, you can get queens, kings, split kings, or even cow kings, any size, any color, $49.98. Order now because they're going to be gone quick, guys. They are selling out fast. These are the sheets that I sleep on every night personally, and I just ordered 2 more sets, and they are already selling out. So this is a limited time offer, but I love these sheets, and you cannot beat $50 for a set of king sheets anywhere, much less get actually high quality sheets for kings at $50. That's just absurd. For this limited time, you can get any size, any color, $49.98. And when you order over $100, you're going to receive $100 in free digital gifts for a limited time. Call 1-800-794-5834. Use promo code THRIVE or go to mypillow.com. Make sure you use promo code THRIVE for up to 80% off and free shipping over $75 anytime before this special for $49.98, any size, any color king bed sheets that are amazing. These Giza Dream sheets are not going to last, guys. That number again is 800-794-5834. Promo code THRIVE for our listeners. Order now because when they're gone, and they are selling out quick. The Driven to Thrive broadcast. Purpose, growth, and lasting impact for men. helping men go from living to thriving, purpose-filled, intentional lives. Welcome to the Drew and Thrive broadcast, Purpose, Growth, and Lasting Impact for Men. I'm your host, Brent Allen, and we help men go from living to thriving, purpose-filled, intentional lives. My guest today is the man of many talents, Yusef Marshall. He's the founder of Mirror Time Media, LLC, and the host of multiple shows, including One-on-One with Mr. Yu. You may know him as the incredible Mr. Yu. Mr. Yu, welcome to the Driven to Thrive broadcast.
Well, thanks for having me, Brent. This has been so already exciting already. So thanks for having me here, man. Glad to be here with you. Fantastic show, by the way.
Thank you. I'm excited about this one. This will be our third collaboration over the breadth of some of the work you and I do. And this is going to be an incredible conversation. But we like to start out a little bit light. So how is your trivia skills?
Trivia skills. Well, they used to be really good because I would take in all this mindless, useless information and retain it to memory. But now I'm not sure how good it is. But I guess we can find out.
All right, here we go, guys. The trivia question of the show. What country ranks first in cereal consumption per capita? Is it A, the USA, B, Italy, C, Ireland, D, the Philippines, or E, Australia?
Oh my goodness. I thought I saw a stat on this, which tells you where my mind is going already. Uh Gosh, I thought it was us. I thought it was USA, but now I'm hesitant. Uh Cereal consumption. So you said, okay, USA, Italy, Australia is the last one I heard. What was the two in between?
Ireland and the Philippines.
I feel like I'm ruling those two out. My guess says USA. I'm gonna say Australia though.
Okay. Now, guys, you know the rules. Don't cheat. Don't look it up. Make your guess. Write it down unless you're driving. For God's sake, don't write while you're driving. And we'll come back to that later in the show because no one actually cares. Mr. You wear so many different amazing hats in all the things you do. I've loved getting to know you and just all the things you've got going on. But today, in this moment, all that aside, tell us in your own words, who is Mr. You?
Oof. Try to keep it short. Right now, I'm like I said, I consider myself a jack of all trades and I'm wearing many hats, and I have done a lot of things and fantastic experiences and life stuff that came out of it. I think right now, primarily, I am a podcaster and content creator. Uh, I'm definitely a ordained minister. I use that in my everyday life. I guess we can throw in coach and father in that because those are important roles for me. That's who I am. I think I can even add author in there. Those things are starting to come back. I was an author a long time ago, and now it's beginning to resurface again. So that's who I am. I'm all of those things, and hopefully, my one thing I love to be is walk into my gift as a professional friend.
We could all use a few more friends. So that's
that,
I like it.
that would be awesome.
Mr. You, what do you do for a living, actually?
My entire life, every day is generally spent trying to build on multiple opportunities for streams of income. So right now, I guess I'm considered unemployed slash retired slash a step away from being a bum. I mean, that's kind of where things are right now. I spend every day essentially interviewing people and trying to build our podcast brand. That's what I do every day for the most part, and build a nonprofit that we have just started about 3 months ago. Save the Children SC. It's a nonprofit that we started for children's advocacy to teach life skills to and literacy to children in our community who are suffering with that, who are being failed by the educational system and by families too. So that's what I do every day. If it's not podcast, I'm trying to build a nonprofit. Everything else that's going on outside of that, just opportunities that are developing and growing. But those are the two things I'm doing every single day. That's my living, for lack of a better word.
I like it. Why do you cringe at being called a coach or a mentor?
I mean, look around, dude. everybody, I don't care if it's in a podcast community like the ones that we're in, and I'll talk about it, man, just to be real, man. I see it in so many places. Social media, especially, it's a glut of that out there. Everybody that has a story or has something that they think is significant in their lives, they automatically dub themselves. I knight myself coach. I knight myself mentor. And it's like, that means something to me more than that because I went through classes and courses and got trained and certified to do that, to have that title. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. These guys out here doing it themselves. I mean, talking about being an ordained minister, people going on here online and getting it in within seconds. Paper that says they're a minister and they can go marry somebody. I'm out here taking classes and courses for years to be able to have the distinction of being called a minister. I'm like, so I'm cringing when I see somebody who's a coach and a mentor, not because they're not, it's just because I'm already I'm skeptical. Because I'm like, okay, everybody does this and they call themselves, I mean, I interview people who call themselves coaches and I ask them, say, why do you think you're qualified to I ask those questions on air? Because even though my certifications probably have lapsed by now, I got a lot of years of experience in doing this. And I'm like, I don't take it lightly. So now the market is so saturated, oversaturated, if you will, with coaches and mentors and people who are put themselves in the spot where they counsel people about their lives and life stuff. And I don't know what kind of good if they do a good job or not. I'm not speaking to that. I have no commentary there. But I cringe because now I'm like, when people know me as that, and they do throughout history know me as a mentor and a coach, I almost don't want to be associated. I want a different title, something that makes me distinct from everybody else because there's so much of it out there, and they're not really doing a good job. So I want to try to get away. I want to separate myself from them by having a different name, something get me out of this circle because I don't like what's happening. So that's why I cringe. If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense entirely. I trust me. I was interviewing. I don't in all the years now 370 some odd episodes um, of just this show.
Congrats, brother. That's awesome.
I have only had about 3 interviews I didn't air that I recorded, and one of them was this like 20-year-old life coach, and he was like 20 or 21, and like I just talking to him,
No.
like, bro, you aren't even you don't even have enough life to coach anybody on who 30-year-olds they should do with their life. You don't even know what you're doing with your life. What is one thing everybody should know about you before we dig into purpose for men today?
What should they know about me? How do I say this without sounding self-aggrandizing? I don't know how to word. I don't know how to word this. It's going to sound pompous as all get out, but it's not. I think what people should know is that I mean, people describe themselves this way, and they label themselves as straight shooters and say, "I'm honest. I don't fluff and all that kind of stuff." And they're just harsh and crude and rude and arrogant, and they just talk to people any way they want because for the sake of being real, you know. But I'm just me. I don't try to lie to folks, and I don't try to get them to do things I want them to do. I mean, I'm not gonna sit and say I'm the last honest man. I'm not gonna do all of that. But I'm pretty honest about where I am. I don't lie to folks. I don't say I'm gonna do this for you and then I don't do it. You know what I'm saying? When I had you on the show, I told you. When you came on the show, I said the goal of the show is not to boost my numbers. I'm a different podcaster. Those things are gonna happen. In my mind, they have to happen through consistent progress and consistency. It has to happen. So I'm not worried about that. I don't need you to help me with that part. Which, if you want to support me, that's great. That's what I said. What my goal here with this show and having you on is to support you and boost your profile. I told you that from the very beginning, so we in the pre-interview. And I said that after the show was done, I'm gonna be promoting your show, the episode perpetually. And I said that, and I've been doing it. I've been promoting your show every time I get on my computer and I see the episode. I'm still pushing, I'm still sharing, I'm still pushing it, I'm still adding new captions. I'm saying, check the show out, check out my guy. You'll love to hear what he has to say. And I've been doing that, and that was months ago. So I think to answer your question, I hate the word honest because I don't know another way to use. Find a different word. I'm just authentic about this. If I say I'm going to help you, I'm going to serve you, it's going to happen. I'm not going to forget about it. I'm not going to get so big that I forget where I came. It's not happening. I'm saying I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. But I write it down. I got it on index cards. It's in my calendar. I'm not going to forget. And I really care about the people I'm trying to help. And people don't get that. They think it's a motive and an angle, or he wants likes. I'm not trying to get any. I'm an introvert. I shouldn't even be doing this anyway. I shouldn't be on any TV screen or laptop screen. I shouldn't even be doing this. I want to get away from I don't want to be in the light, so to speak. I don't want it. But there's a purpose that's greater than me, and that's why I'm doing this. So maybe did I answer the question? Because I don't even know if I did. I'm just babbling at this point. I have no idea what I was talking about. But that's what I want you to know.
Straight from the heart, man. We're good.
All right.
Love it. Guys, we've spent just a little bit of time getting to know Mr. Yu and who he is, what he's about, where he's coming from, and the direction he's going. In the next part of the show, we're going to go ahead and dive into why men need their purpose, why it's so important to find your purpose. And then later in the episode, we're going to start heading towards helping you find your purpose if this is something you're struggling with. Now, I've been looking forward to the conversation, man, because this is like one of the most convoluted questions I ever get asked and talk about is helping people find their purpose, or why they should pursue their purpose at all. Right. I've met so many guys. Like I was truly sad. I was talking to a guy one day at a men's breakfast. Right. And he was asking about my shirt. I was wearing one of my podcast shirts, and he was asking about what I do, when I talk about, and I was like, well, I help men move towards their purpose and, go beyond just living and, just being the breadwinner, right? The whole protect, provide, preside kind of thing that you hear talked about in men's circles. And this guy was like, and he's easily in his 50s. It's like, what else is there? And like my heart just hurts because this is the reason we're having these conversations. Is there are so many men who don't realize there's so much more.
Okay.
What? Let's start with the elephant in the room. Why should men seek out a bigger purpose in their life?
One of the things that my old dearly departed mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, he was a well-known speaker, minister, author. His books and his teachings have shaped my family's life. And one of his quotes, but there's two quotes I just love. I always share them because they just hit me that way. The short version of one of them is that the richest place in the world isn't the oil fields of Saudi Arabia or Texas or gold or Fort Knox. It's the graveyard. Books, poems, inventions, stories, ideas, they rest there because they weren't walked out, they weren't lived out. And it's the richest place in the entire world, it's the graveyard. And his other quote is, without the understanding of a thing, abuse is inevitable, to paraphrase it. And as men, we are known to be fixers and doers and, like you said, providers and such. But there's just so much more to us than that. We were created for a lot more than just to be husbandmen over a garden. We there's more to us than that. We do more than that. Just being a provider and to show up and give our children the last scraps, the last remnants of our time because we're spent from working 16-hour days. There's more to our life than that. So I believe that men, not men versus women, but just speaking to men specifically, we need to seek purpose, because if we don't, we would have lived a full life and never done and become all that we're supposed to be. And I use the word evolve, not because we're talking evolution. I mean, for lack of a better word, we need to evolve into this. And we can't do that without being on this seeking journey of trying to find purpose. What we do is we'll settle into a temporary place and make it permanent when it's supposed to be temporary. And we start camping out in a place that you're supposed to be just be passing through. And we do that in life. I've done it. That's how I know. Ask me how I know. That's how I know. Because I went to a place I should have been passing through as a sojourner, and I camped out there and hung out, put up a tent, and said, "This is my house." And start putting up signs, and this is my house. This is not my house. I'm supposed to just be passing through it, moving on to the next bigger and better thing. But I didn't do that. I didn't reckon. I didn't discern the times and the seasons that I was in. As men, we can't afford to do that. Look at the perception of men now, whether it be in the media, just around the world, even in books and stuff. You know, some stuff is deserved, but overall, men get a bad rap, and people don't really take the time to understand men. Even men don't want to understand men because we have an inability to connect or an unwillingness to learn how to connect with each other. So nobody understands us. We don't even understand us because we're just kind of walking around like zombies, just doing things that we think men are supposed to do. And there's just so much more to us. We have so much flavor, so much creativity, so much purpose inside of us. Got to tap into it. So I don't, who wants to see a bunch of dead men that, are supposed to be leading homes and households, being the priests, prophets, and kings in their household, and they don't care. Pop on the couch, veg out, and stop living, starting a slow death process. We owe it to ourselves to seek purpose.
There's a whole lot there. But I don't want to derail my thought process just yet. So
I'm sorry.
no,
sorry about that.
it's like you as podcast host, right? Someone says something, it's like, is something that's sitting on my head about that going to add to the conversation or detract from what was just said, right?
Yeah.
Want to detract from what my guest said. So let's push forward. And how about this, right? You're in a place where that this is reality to you, that this is important. So let's take a half step back, and can you share your experience, your story on what led you to discover your own purpose in life? What pushed you there?
Yeah, this is there's a lot of different little factors that kind of led to this. I'm trying to just pinpoint one thing where I just feel like I just got here. I don't know. I think if I had to just pick one thing that kind of just pops up, I will probably say in 2016 was probably the year that really became life for me personally. Uh, I was coaching before that. I was doing. I even had my own coaching practice. I was doing I was having purpose conversations with people long before 2016. But that was the year that I wrote my first book, and it represented therapy for me because of some serious hangups and some serious wounds that I had as being a son without a father. And in writing that book, like I said, it was therapeutic. To a degree, I got some healing out of that. There was more that came afterwards, but to a degree, to write that and put it out there was healing for me. To have conversations about it, to have to discuss it openly with people who were reading the book, it was powerful. Uh, but in that, I was like, okay, everybody that writes a book, it doesn't mean that you need to continue to be an author, but it just means that you had a story and you were able to share it and it resonated with somebody. But in writing that, I was like, I got so many questions, and I even begin to reassess my own work. I wrote the book, but I was still in it. I was still in the book, even though I wrote it, and it was already published. It was already out on Amazon and all these retailers. But I was still processing this book, and I'm like, And it made me come to some questions about myself. There were some hard questions that were not in the book. It made me wonder, okay, so who are you? You spent this whole time writing 194 pages in 6 weeks about all your hurts and your struggles and the things that you lacked and missed out in life. Who are you? And it made me begin to start getting into a journey. That book helped me do that. Start taking a journey about to find out who I am. So I think that year was pivotal for that. But it created some questions because, when we do things and we think, you know what, okay, I did it. Now what? It made me just realize that, there's so much more. There's areas and chambers of our heart that we haven't even touched yet. There's so much more to us that's valuable. So much more that we got to get out of us. We got the journey of healing and restoration. It doesn't just stop when we do something good and we give ourselves a pat on the back. There's just so much more, and it never ends. When I figured that part out, that it doesn't end, I'm like, oh my God, okay, so I should still be doing some more work. There should still be more journey happening. I thought that was a hard stop. I wrote the book, I'm good. Assignment done. You know what I'm saying? But there's just so much more. And that's when I realized that, you know what? I got to do work, and it's perpetual. It don't quit until I'm done. Like as in end of life done or end of days done, whichever one comes first. That's when I realized, you know what, this is the journey. I gotta stay in it with a seeker mentality. And I've been teaching that ever since that year, you know, about the seeker mentality. And we gotta have it. We need to foster that and not let it go into your bureau drawer on your nightstand. We gotta continue to keep doing that because we find ourselves in that. And I think even we find God in that when we continue to say, you know what, I need help. I don't have this down pat. I can't trust the media and TV shows to teach me stuff. I can't even trust the next podcast extraordinaire to teach me stuff. I need to continue to keep seeking. I need to continue to keep trying to find him and find me and find us and find we. It's a process. It's a journey. So I'm pretty sure that I forgot your entire question, but forgive me. But that's where we are.
So that's how you found your purpose.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I found out that I need to be on the journey towards that. I honestly, when people talk about purpose, I think they always think about one singular thing.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that that's bad, but I just feel like in my case, it's not that, but all those things lead you to it. All those things, it's almost like like streams that lead into geographic, like a tributary, whatever it is. But all these things that I'm doing right now, and I didn't see this originally. Just to be fair, all the things that I'm doing right now, even the things I couldn't even talk about earlier because they're still being developed. All those things lead to the one singular thing. And for me, we can talk about what the purpose is if you're willing to do that, whatever. But all those things that I'm doing right now, they lead to that. It's not about me getting likes and being famous and being on platforms and billboards, excuse me. But they all lead to one singular thing. And I think once we figure that part out, because a lot of the conversations I have with folks about this, if they're not so inclined as you and I are, and they're not people of faith, those conversations, they can only go but so far, just to be honest. So if people want to do free consultations with me, I'm good with it. But at some point, we got to get to the faith component, because if you think you're here just because, and somebody popped you out and they popped you out with no design in mind, and you just here, our convos can only go but so far. We can have some great conversations about life and experience and purpose, and I've done it. But at some point in time, we're not going to get to the graduation. It's not going to happen. We're going to get to the place where we're going to end up being almost like at an impasse. We may part ways. We may stay in touch and keep it friendly and casual, but at some point, we got to touch on the whole existential conversation. We got to talk about it. Why are you here? Do you think you made yourself? Why are you here? We got to have the creator conversation at some point. But I think at that point, we find out what the purpose actually is. And spoiler alert, I haven't said this on anybody's podcast. It's probably going to be the first time. Spoiler alert. Everybody's purpose is the same. People don't want to hear that. I know that's not popular, but everybody's purpose is the same. It's not different. Different paths to get to it, but the purpose of all of us, those that are inclined like you and I, and those that are not, the purpose is exactly identical. One purpose.
You said that, you know, as you did your book, it became a form of therapy and self reflection for you to kind of point you in the path that you ultimately felt this is where I need to go. This is the direction my life is moving. Now, you know, obviously not everybody's going to stop and write a book. And kudos, by the way, 193 pages in 6 weeks. If you've never worked on a book, you have no idea how hard that is. Just
Yeah.
throwing that out there. I've started 2 books. I'm working on one. The other one I started ago and haven't got past the first 100 pages. Well, I've written the first 100 pages, I think 3 times, and I just keep rewriting it. The other one's only about 60 pages in, but 193 pages in 6 weeks it's a lot, guys. It's working
It is a lot.
day in, day out on that book for 6 weeks.
Every day.
But not everybody's going to write a book. Now, I actually really think that a lot of people should kind of, even if they never publish it, write their own memoir as almost a form of journaling. Because when you actually start to like write it out and think through all those things, it really does cause some serious, serious, deep self reflection. But do you think that that self reflection and however you get there, whether it's through writing a book or maybe, I don't know, some people meditate or something like that, right? I was never a good meditation person. I tried for a while, like really, I'm like, squirrel, you know, I'm not
Right.
right.
Ooh, shiny.
Uh,
Shiny.
yeah, you know, I need like a almost what's one of those almost sensory deprivation tank to be able to meditate. Otherwise, my brain is just like doop, 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 doop. It's like a pinball machine. I live with too many women.
I got a buddy that's try, so that maybe you could try it out. It's a lot cheaper than a sensory deprivation tank. Sit in a dark closet, lights out, and put a blindfold on. I thought the boy was crazy, but in hindsight, it kind of makes sense because I'm the kind of person, if I don't have a blindfold on, I'm seeing things like, oh my god, this carpet is dirty. I'm seeing all type of stuff. Man, these clothes, why the hang that back up? It's not clean. No, I'm seeing all kinds of it. With the blindfold on, you don't see anything. All you're doing is you just kind of just present. So try that. Keep it in a deprivation tank.
For me,
Try that out. See what happens.
it's got to block out the sound.
Oh, okay.
Like I hear everything that happens in my house, even in my sleep. I hear it when my girls turn over in their beds on the opposite side of the house on 2 different floors. Like I don't sleep deeply. But how do you think it's that self-reflection is really crucial for men to try and align with their direction and purpose?
I know it is. I quote a book whenever I go on shows and talk about men, and I'm not trying to get free pub, but there's a book by John Eldridge that I believe is the book for any man. If you want to understand about purpose and self reflection and stuff, and it's Wild at Heart.
Great book.
That book right there, it has sharp edges, man. I'm just telling you that up front. It's going to cut you in ways that you haven't been cut, but it's worth it. It's the bloodshed is worth it. But the self reflection part, I don't know how I don't know how we grow without it. I mean, look at what men are like. Just just generally speaking, this is not for every man. Please don't attack Brent or myself because of this comment I'm about to make. No, but generally speaking, we struggle with connection. We can be in a room full of people and still be isolated. I mean, we could be in a room with 50 people and not know one name of the person that people that we're in the room with. So we're in there, we're present. Hey, I came to the event. I'm here. I'm at the breakfast, but we don't connect. We don't know each
Like,
other. You're not in a dark room, but you're still isolated. It's not much different. You just change locations, but the mentality you brought into the room is still the same. And we struggle with connection. We struggle with getting in touch with ourselves. When we hear that kind of stuff, man, we laugh. Get in touch with yourself. What kind of hippie new age crap is this? Get in touch with yourself. What are we talking about here? But but as humans, just put the man apart for a second. But as humans, we need to have this. One of the reasons why I even started this podcast journey was because of a revelation that I personally received. And one of our models is that we a weekly mirror check before you go change the world. And that's something that I try to live by with everything that we put out under our brand. Because I don't know how we do anything. And I don't care if it's entrepreneurship. I don't care if it's podcasting full time as a goal. I don't care if it's you are succeeding in the business world or in the nonprofit space. I don't care if it's you doing ministry and teaching and preaching around the world and doing missions work. I don't know how we do anything of any kind of no working at the construction company, at the factory. I don't whatever if you out here laying pipe and whatever you're doing, if you're working in a light and water and energy, whatever you're doing, I don't know how we do any of that kind of stuff without some level of self-evaluation. We have bosses and mentors that may evaluate us and give us tests and programs to make sure that we're following the standards. But at some point, we got to do that to ourselves and say, this is okay, this was the goal I have. Where are we at with that? How's this going? I said I'm going to, January 1st, I had a New Year's resolution that I'm going to do this and do this. Okay, we're in August. How are we doing? We got to have evaluation on every level. Are we reading enough? Are we taking the time to reflect on what we read, or are we just reading so we can say we did it and check it off? You know what I'm saying? Are we spending enough time, like you said, in meditation? I mean, I wasn't a big meditator. I thought it was like, because the kids and my wife, they laugh about that stuff all the time. I got daddy ears. I hear the siren and it's miles away.
mhm.
And I can hear a siren, and my wife like, I don't hear anything. I'm like, a siren's come and watch. And then after a few seconds or a minute, she'll hear it come. She's like, oh my God, you got daddy ears. I hear my daughters when they were living in the house. I could hear you said all kind of stuff. I'm like, wow, I don't think I want the power of super hearing. A lot of
Mm-mm.
responsibility, but I could hear it like that. So I mean, for me, meditation wasn't really a thing until recently. Now I'm in a space where it's like I know I have to do it. I got to take the time to shut it down. It's not easy. I got to take the time and excuse me, listen to myself, hear what's going on. The thoughts that come up, why is that happening? Why are these thoughts coming up above all the other ones? And start dealing with me. Start putting some work in because we work on everything else as men. We're worker bees. We want to fix stuff. We want to try to build and make things go. And we neglect ourselves. We do it all around us. When it comes to us, we get uncomfortable. So when you have those men's breakfasts and ministry meetings, like what you were talking about earlier,
Mhm.
that's what happens. We get in those spaces and we just try to get through this. Hopefully nobody won't ask me to say anything. Hopefully they won't ask me to say my name or share a story about my life. I just want to just get through this, eat these eggs and bacon, and get out of here. And get in my car and drive away as fast as I can to go do whatever I want to do. Go fishing or hunting or go to the range or whatever. And it's like we won't take the time to stop and say, hey man, you need wholeness. You need it. You can't do anything of any note in the future. You can't even be that for your sons and daughters if you don't work on progressive healing for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So to me, man, it's like this is where it's at. We have to do this, and it's an uncomfortable conversation, but I'm excited about the opportunity to have it with people. I'm saying we have to do this. We can't get around this. Look at history, man. So I've been going on a long time, man. My apologies, man, but just look at the history, man. Look at what's been going on in our world around us, man. You can tell that a lot of people who are in leadership don't have a lot of self-reflection. You can tell. You can tell because what's I don't know what goes in, but you can tell what's in there because of what comes out. I'm saying? And if we want to have value in this life, if we want to be, you know, uh, successful, so to speak, as fathers and husbands and sons and brothers, what we put in makes a difference because that's what's going to come out.
I love that. I I hate cliche phrases, right? And part of the reason I hate them is some of them are so true, right? Uh, like no shade on Tony Robbins, but he is like the king of those like cliche catchphrases that like are so repeatable and they get in your they're like earworms. You're just like, "Ugh." And a lot of them are really true. Like I said, no shade on Tony Robbins, no disrespect at all. But like I hate those cliche sayings, right? But is that garbage in, garbage out? I have a background in IT, and it's that term is used all the time, right?
Oh,
You garbage code will give you garbage, right?
facts.
Don't always think about the intake. It's one of the arguments. Uh, I've talked in previous shows, and I've talked with previous guests about like porn addiction and stuff like that. Men don't understand it's garbage
Mm,
in, garbage out. You put garbage into your heart, you put garbage into your brain, it produces garbage in your life. It's just how it is.
yeah, yeah.
And so,
Mm,
monitoring is part of why I got into personal development when I started my own personal development journey was just like I need to know what I'm putting in here is producing value, right? I was addicted to video gaming. I played video games almost a professional level. I had the option to
mm.
go to a professional level. Um, but I lost 3 years of my life on one game. Like I actually
Oh
calculated
my
the
God.
time. That's what actually
Wow.
sobered me up was I realized that I spent
Wow.
3 years I could never get back on a game that it was fun. I made some great friends playing the game who are still friends now.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it did nothing for my physical life. Men are often drawn to video games because we can get those big epic wins in video games that we're missing in our lives.
Right.
But it was finally that click of, but I'm never going to get those epic wins in my life if I don't start putting better stuff into here, right? If I don't start changing the diet of what I'm consuming, I can't expect a great output. So that's is one of those cliche sayings was like garbage in, garbage out is so important. And you can tell what a person is putting into their life by what's coming out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
You're right.
In faith
You're totally right.
circles, we call that producing fruit. Uh, Outside of faith circles, it's really just garbage in, garbage out. It's what you put into your mind and into your heart. That's what comes out in your life.
Mm, yeah. That's true,
And
man.
it plays so much into, you were talking earlier about the richest place is the cemetery. And that is my father was a minister, and I spent a lot of time at funerals,
Yeah.
and it gave me an interesting perspective very young because I started realizing what actually mattered at the end of the road very early on.
Mm, that's
I
good.
I saw these amazing people, but I looked at them at the end of their road. And what did people actually say about them? What stood out to people about them? What mattered, right?
Mm,
Do their kids
that's good, man.
talk about them? I listened to their surviving spouses talk about them. And it's the sobering realization of what actually carries weight when this world ends for us, right? And so
Mm,
it put me early on to this is like, okay, what do I want my life to say at my funeral? What do I want people saying about me? And how do I get there?
yeah.
Right. And so I started trying to look at a bigger picture early on. Now, that was a really crazy, like, situational thing when my dad being a minister is like, so I got this early exposure. I sat with people in the hospital and listened to their regrets
Wow.
as they were dying. There's that incredible book. I've only read excerpts of it. A nurse wrote it. It was like interviews. She was a hospice nurse or something, and she interviewed all these people at the ends of their lives. And it was like the most common regrets that humans have at the end of their life. I think people don't necessarily, I think there's a lot of weight. If you can look at the end, it will start driving you towards there's a meaning to an intention to my life, a purpose, if you will, to my life that I need to get to when you start looking at it from the end perspective.
Sure.
It starts to affect what carries weight in your life. But that's
Wow.
my own wonderings about that.
Yeah.
How do you help people separate the passions versus purpose? I think a lot of times we start to talk about purpose and we mistake some of our passions along the way. And sometimes they're aligned and sometimes they're not. So how do you have that conversation?
uh, well, when I hear the word passion, it emotes certain images that come to mind. But generally speaking, passions burn out. And when I talk to people about things that they, especially young folks, and I don't want to use generation to describe them. I don't know what generation they fall in. I can't think of what that is right now. But this generation, they talk a lot about passion. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. And but that passion doesn't drive them to get out of bed before 10 o'clock in the morning. That passion doesn't drive them to be early for an appointment as opposed to being right on time or just a few minutes late. That passion doesn't drive them to stay up late studying, reading, how to do this passion better than it's been done, how to go beyond the normal requirements and the the basics and go beyond and into the level of advancing and excelling in these areas. But they want to sell us on how passionate they are about things. I'm like, as an old head, I'm usually pretty quick to stamp out that part of the conversation. I'm like, yeah, if you're coming to me for help with this, you're coming to the wrong person. Because I've seen people who are passionate that never accomplish anything, of any kind of note. It always burns out because you were living on passion. And when you got purpose, that's how stuff gets done. That's how inventions get made. That's how people who have long careers and longevity in certain areas, that's how they accomplish that. It's, they understand what the goal is from the beginning. They begin with the end in mind. They know what it is they're trying to accomplish. And for me, that's the difference. So when I get in conversations about purpose versus passion, we start off with passion a lot of the times, but we can't end there. At some point, the way it burns off in your life is going to burn out in that conversation, in that consultation. We can't spend time there because that's not gonna keep you motivated to get out of bed at 3, 4, 5 in the morning and go do this thing. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen that happen on passion alone. I've never seen it happen. There's a certain level of desire and skill and determination that comes with doing anything of any kind of note. But that passion word, it just hits me wrong. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a. I've never seen anybody who made that their thing, their motto, and they done something great. I've never seen it happen yet.
Fair enough. What would you I know a lot of guys, right? They start to key into this idea of purpose in their life. They start asking. In fact, I found a lot of men don't start asking those questions until they hit that quote unquote American dream, right? because all
Mm,
life you're told to, you know, your job is to provide and get the house and the family and the dog and all that, right? That's the big dream. And then it's usually guys get there or close to there that they start to go, wait, it feels like there should be more to this, right? This seems kind of like that was a dawning realization for me personally, right? Because I had that.
mm.
I got there and it's like, yeah, I've got a great job and I've got the dog and the kids and my wife and I have been married for years at that point, and we're just happy that we're still married because we had the rough patches there, mainly because I'm an idiot most of the time. But my wife makes up for me a lot. But um, I got there and it's like, huh, I don't get it. Like I right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
so a lot of times, a lot of guys are already carrying a lot of weight or what on themselves at the point where they start to go, maybe there's more to life than this, right? So when you start to have this conversation with them, it's really difficult for a lot of guys because
sure, yeah.
there's all these expectations already weight on them. So, how do we carry that life we've built, those expectations, that responsibility, and meet those expectations while still trying to find authentic fulfillment and purpose?
I think if I heard the question correctly, and it's a great question by the way. If I heard it right, I think the why is a big is a very important component in this. Uh, I think as men, I don't think we struggle with that as much. When somebody says we need to do something, well, maybe it's not all men. This is probably another general statement. But whenever somebody tells me, I speak for myself to take it off everybody else. If somebody asks me to do something, my first question is why. Why am I doing this? Why do you want me to invest this level of time and commitment to doing this? Why? Even when my girls were young and they would ask me to do stuff, my question to them was why. And I know it gets frustrating if you have to ask why 4 or 5 times. Like, oh my God, you're draining me. Just do it. No, but the why is important. And in your scenario and the question you laid out so masterfully, the why is important. I mean, that whole American Dream deal, I feel like that was just an opportunity. It wasn't supposed. I don't think that was designed to be the end. And if it was, it's a horrible dream. If that's the case, where the only goal is a house and a white picket fence and a dog and a family and a good job, if that's the goal, I'm like, oh my God, this dream is either it's very awful and it's sinister, or it was just designed to just be a step into opportunity, a step into greatness, a step into out of obscurity and into relevance. So I'm not quite sure. Since I didn't invent the dream, I can't speak to what it was supposed to be. But as far as men go, I think we need to understand the why of why we're doing what we're doing. Because if you're on a job 30, 40 years and that's your why, you miss something along the way. Because there's more after that. Because after you leave, I mean, I see some people who work jobs for 40, 50 years. Even I can't believe you could work at one place for 50 years, but I've seen this. And when they retire, they're closer to death's doorstep than they ever were in their entire life. Why? Because their whole life was wrapped up in that job, and they made that their why. They made that the reason why they were here to work for Acme Incorporated. And once they leave Acme or they get laid off, like we saw 5 years ago, they plunge into a frenzy and don't know what to do. Like, wow, why am I here? I'm going to kill myself. They don't have any sense of purpose. They don't understand why they're even doing what they're doing. What would the point? So that you can have a nice retirement, or do you want to start a business, or do you want to build something and that feeds generations? What was your goal? So I guess to answer your question again, that the why is super important. If we don't understand that, all we'll have is that dream, and then if we don't hit it, then we'll have to spare.
But how do we get there? We've gotten there and gone, there's more. but I've already got to pay the bills. I've already got to take care of my wife and kids. How do I start maintain this life I've built and what matters in there, right? I got to keep paying the bills. I got to keep taking care of my family. But how do I start to explore that idea of purpose and more to my life while I'm already trying to balance all this?
Okay. I'm not going to say go out and get a life coach because that's going to send us down a rabbit hole that we don't need to go down. I'll tell you because excuse me, what I don't want to do is see anything that's going to sound formulaic. Like do this, and it's going to turn out the way it did for me. I won't do it. But what I'll do is I'll tell you what I did, and you can decide if you can adapt it to your own life. This is what I did. I had the cushy job with the government, corporate job, moved up in the ranks real fast, prominent position, nice pay, stability, all of that stuff. But I didn't feel like I felt like I was trapped inside myself. Like this somebody in here who's not getting a chance to shine in this. So one thing I did, and this is just my personal testimony. You guys can decide how you want to do your thing, or you want Brent or myself to help you with doing what we did. But I really began to increase my seeking and my reading from a biblical standpoint. That's one of the first things I did because in order to understand who I was, I needed to understand who made me. If I have a problem with a car and it's a Toyota brand car, I'm not calling Hyundai to ask them how to get this fixed. I'm not going to call Mitsubishi to find out how to fix this Toyota. That's not what they do. They fix their own brand of cars. So I can't go to somebody who doesn't know me, who hasn't fashioned me in his own hands, out of his own hands, to ask them for help. So I clung a lot to scripture. I dug into it to try to find answers for myself and how to get on that path you're talking about. Along with that, not in front of it, but along with that, I also increased my reading period on topics relating to this. And like anything that you read, you need to you know, take the meat and throw away the bones. It's just sometimes you're gonna read stuff like, yeah, that's not gonna fly. And that's fair. Everybody had their own perspective about stuff and they write about it. And we buy the books and we read it. So we got to decide how to parse the things that are weighted that matter to us and put the things to the side that don't matter as much. So that along with it, with my scriptural intake and then reading books about purpose and life stories and men's issues and things of that nature. And I begin to start building a library of information. What you said about journaling, that's spot on. That opened things up because when you start asking yourself those deep questions, you'd be surprised by the answers you run into over time. So all those things I was implementing at the same time, or at least concurrently. And I begin to start seeing some things. I begin to start recognizing, you know what? My perspective on this has been kind of off. And I got to build a life outside of the one that I've already been building all this time. And matter of fact, to tell you the truth, I'm still in that journey right now. It's not years ago. This is like right now. That's like today, like 5 seconds ago. This is still happening. So I had this other life that I built, this other platform, network, and I got to build another one from scratch. I got to tear down all the old junk that I was wasting my time, like you said, wasting years doing, and build the one that matters, the one that has longevity and value to it, the one that can feed generations and change lives forever. So that was my best way to answer that question. I surely hope it was helpful because you got some awesome listeners and viewers, and I don't want to screw them up. So hope that helped.
Now, guys, if you're getting something out of this, if this is ringing a bell for you, be sure and like, share all that good social media nonsense that I hate and that I even hate saying on air. I hate the whole promotional side of this crap. I just want to make a difference in people's lives and provide solid content for them. And having to play the social media game and stuff to reach people is such a headache. So if this has really helped ring in for you guys, share this with somebody who needs it. That's like the biggest compliment ever. Is when you share this podcast with somebody who needs it. We got to start landing this plane. We're getting there, but if this is a new conversation for somebody, right? They're hearing talk about purpose. They're hearing us say, "Hey, there's more to your life. There's more to who you are." I love that example of the graveyard because like there is so many things that will never ever come into existence because a person didn't realize, wait, I got more in me than that. I got more to where I need to go and who I am. And if this is a new conversation for somebody, what are the first 3 steps someone can really start to take into doing this? So, and we're not going to say, call a coach. That's not the answer here. What are, 3 steps? And you've already started that conversation with what you did. But if this is a new conversation for someone, where is the starting point? What are the first couple steps so they can start on their own journey?
Hmm. And this is in reference to purpose, right?
Yeah.
Uh, very first step. I think the first step, if I was laying out a plan, haven't done this in a while, haven't had to. I think it's coming, but I'm going to have to start doing it again. But I think the first thing is assessing the history. What have you been doing up to this point? I mean, I think as a man, I have to go back. Sometimes my wife reminds me of something I've done, and I'm like, "Oh, I did. I should forgot about that." Because we don't want to write stuff down. We don't want to take the time to get in touch with ourselves. So we kind of just drift through it. We do it and leave it in the rear view, and it's like, oh wow, there's no memory, there's no memorial of it. There's no markers to show what happened. We don't we don't keep a snapshot of it in any way, shape, or form, not physically or mentally. There's no snapshot. So assessing, okay, what have you been doing? Because you're like 30, 40 years old. What have you been doing up to this point? Maybe you're a 20-year-old life coach. What have you been doing? You know what I'm saying? We assess that part first. The second one is, okay, why have you been doing this? The second step is finding out the why. Why? Because that motivation, I seen people who were impoverished and they won the lottery. Guess what happened to them less than a year later? They're back in poverty. But now they have massive debt attached to it. So they weren't just poor, now they owe people. I'm saying, how'd that happen? Because the motivation that they had the first time hadn't been dealt with. We haven't dealt with why you were motivated to do that. Where'd that come from? There's a story of a lady, and they always, I don't know who she been attributed to. This lady who she was cooking with her daughter for the holiday for Thanksgiving, I think it was. And she would take parts of the ham and she would cut it off, and then she would throw a good chunk of it in the trash. And her mother's like, "Why am I doing that?" The mother asked the daughter asked her mother, why were you doing that? Why you throw away all this meat? And then she would say, when we were younger, we had a really small ice box. So we only had enough room for a certain amount. So we had to save some in the ice box and we had to throw the rest of it away, which is wasteful. That makes you cringe, but that was the thing. She carried that on into another generation. Her daughter started doing it. Her granddaughter started doing it. It had to do with the motivation of why you were doing that to explain what's happening in your right now. So the second one is explaining or assessing what the why is, why you're doing what you're doing. And then the third one, I think for me, is figuring out if you want to actually have help. I talk to folks all the time who we can walk through that step with, but the third one is like, you know what? Do you really want to be transparent? Do you really want the kind of community that Brent talks about, that I'm talking about? Do you really want to have that? If you do, then we can move forward. But those first 3 steps, we got to cover that first. You got to assess what you've been doing, get real about it. In fact, get it on paper is the best thing. Write on paper what I've done it with multiple people, even some couples that my wife and I've been working with. What have you been doing up to this point? Write it down. Secondly, why are you doing that? Third, do you want to actually change this behavior? Or are you so comfortable with it that you don't want to change anything? We can't assume if somebody wants to change that just because we're on a call or we're doing a consultation. That's an idiotic mistake. It's a waste of our time. We got to find out, do you actually want to change something? Do you want the kind of community that we have access to? If you do, then we can go ahead and move forward and start taking some steps and start, dealing with some hard things. But that third step, you can't skip to 4. That third step got to be undertaken. So those are the best 3 steps. I probably, if I was creating a program and a plan again, and back into this coaching space again, that's probably where I would. That's kind of how it would look.
What advice do you have for men who feel stuck in their careers and their personal lives where they're at, but they're seeking something more meaningful?
They're seeking something more meaningful. What are they seeking? What are they doing? You said seeking something more meaningful.
Yeah, they're looking for more meaning. They've hit this point and they're looking for more meaning, something that is bigger than, oh, the house, the dog, the family. Yay.
I think I got kind of a two-part answer. Hopefully this makes sense. Whenever I interview somebody, one of the last questions I ask, the second to last or the last question I ask on the show, every single time without fail, if you were not in your current vocation, doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing? And what that causes our guests to do is to kind of go back in time a little bit, go back into the time machine. Look at the things that they put into the bureau drawers, that they kind of put into a safe to kind of hid it away. Maybe society said it was a bad idea. Maybe your parents said, you know what, they discouraged it. It's like, you can't do that with your life. That's not a viable route. You need something more stable, like go into engineering, do something surrounding math. That's something creative like this idea. And they stamp it out and you get discouraged and you put it away. But in going back into that, you realize that those ideas may not have been as bad as you thought. They may have been entrepreneurial gold mines, and now somebody else is doing it. And you put it to the shelf, put it on the shelf in favor of a cubicle instead. So I think I would one, I would want to assess, what do you want to do? And I did that with a couple of people over the past maybe 20 years or so. I would have them write down all the things that they're passionate about. And that's not easy for a man, number one, because that whole passion thing again. I would have them write maybe a top 10 list of all the things they're passionate about, and it would take them forever to finish it. I'm like, because they don't really know how to they're not even in touch with their own selves. But once they write that stuff down, once we can get there, which is a lot of times it was rare, we struggle with that. But once we got there, I was able to see, I'm like, so most of what's on this list, you're not doing it right now. Why? And then we find out, different between, hope and dreaming versus obligation and responsibility and mandates and pressure and all these things. So I hope I answered that. That's kind of where you want to start, because you're doing things. It's not like you're not lazy. You're busy. You're doing things. You're building something, but deep down you want something more. You got to find out why. Why do you want more? What's wrong with what you're doing? You don't feel fulfilled. I mean, I want to get into those conversations. I want to talk about that. Why not? The whole world is saying that these kind of jobs are the greatest things since sliced bread. Do this, and you build a career in life and a happy family. Your wife's going to be happy. Your kids going to be happy. You can go on vacations. The world said this is it. They said this is the answer. You're telling me it's not the answer. Why do you think it's not the answer? We got to get it. So I get deep with it, man. I want to find out what's going on. I don't want to be treating the sneeze. I want to find out why you're sneezing. So, yeah.
I like it. What's next for Mr. Yu? You
Ooh.
coming up?
There's some things that I can share. There's some I can't. Not to sound mysterious, but that's not my plan. But
I like it.
there are three areas that I have, like I just stated a little bit ago, that I've always felt like I had an affinity towards, but I put it on the shelf. Three very specific areas that I put on the shelf. People out here doing it. You interview them all the time, and they're doing one of those three things. But I wasn't doing any of them. So I put it on the shelf, where now an opportunity has presented itself through community. That's key. Through community, I'm going to start doing all three of those things very, very soon. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to definitely share some of that with you, because some of it is relevant to you, and maybe we can talk about it in a future discussion. But those three things, so I call them the three pillars. My wife, that's how she knows me to describe it. The three pillars that I put on the show, they've been in the drawer for years. They're about to come back out, and I'm super excited about it. So,
You see, guys, we've been talking about this the whole time, right? There's something he's absolutely passionate about, that it's there, that he's had to put to the side for now, and And even now, right, he's going, yeah, it's still there and I'm coming for it now.
It's
Right?
time.
It's time.
It's time.
Where is the best place for people to find you and connect with you?
They call me Mr. U.buzzsprout.com. You can find all of our socials there. You can find the work on all of the episodes that we've been doing for the past 5 years. I highly recommend our first 3 seasons. Powerful stuff. So you can find all the episodes there. Best way to contact me. Of course, they call me Mr. U at gmail.com. I don't mind getting emails. If it's spam, I put it where it belongs. So I'm good with it. But those are the best ways to reach me. And of course, our YouTube channel, youtube.com at they call me Mr. U. A lot of recent stuff, a lot of audio, video stuff as well, but not a bad way to reach me. But the first two are probably the best route. And hopefully they're going to be in your show notes so they can
Oh
access
yeah.
that really quickly. But yeah.
And I just like to have people say it for our audio listeners. It will be in the show notes or in the YouTube description or Rumble or whatever you're joining us for this episode on, guys.
Yeah.
Of course, we will make sure, and it'll be all his links will be on the actual page for this episode as well on the website, as well as connections to other projects we worked on together. Because this is, I think, the third collaboration together.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to share all those with you guys. By the time you hear this, you'll two of them are already out, so or will have already been out. Now I know all of you are really worried about cereal consumption and where the biggest cereal consumption per capita is.
Oh
You went
man.
with Australia, and actually,
My gut didn't say that, but yeah, I did.
the answer is Ireland.
What?
Yeah, crazy, right? Apparently, they like their Lucky Charms. I'm sure that was probably like racist something. Sorry, guys. Really
Oh
didn't mean it that way. That was just like the
wow.
first Irish cereal that came to mind.
They're magically delicious.
I'm sorry, guys. No shade. I've got Irish family, so um,
Wow.
totally came out wrong. And we're done. I'm getting deplatformed again. All right,
Oh no. That's funny. That's funny though.
Mr. Yu. If the people listening today heard absolutely nothing else from this conversation, what is the most important thing you want anybody to hear today that hears this?
Embrace community, man. I don't mean just the guys that look up to you and like what you have to talk about. I'm talking about the people who would challenge you, that won't give you a handout, but give you a hand up and pull you up to where they are, and you guys grow in success together. Us men, we need that. I mean, I know women need it as well, and I respect that and I understand that. But as men, we need that. And it's a hard fight, it's a battle to get out of our comfort zones of the couch or the man cave and to step out and do things with other men. It's not easy. It's a struggle. Ask me again how I know. It's a struggle, but it's worth it because we find purpose in that community. We find compassion. We find understanding. We find wisdom in that community. Embrace it. If you don't know where to find that kind of stuff, and you've been listening to Brent and his work on his podcast work, which is fantastic, by the way, reach out to him. If he wants to reach out to me or others that he thinks are a match, let him be a connector, man, because by yourself, I mean, look, you've been doing it by yourself for a while. You think it's really good. I mean, if you think it's great, then don't bother. But if you think there's room for growth, that you think there's some room for some opportunity, you feel like it's not quite, there's a void there. Reach out to this brother, man, and let him direct you in the right way, man. He got your best interests at heart, man. So this is my best takeaway: embrace community, embrace this show. Driven to Thrive is an incredible podcast. So embrace that and keep listening. You're definitely going to learn something every single time.
Wow, I can't even trump that. Thank you for that, share.
You can try.
No, I was like, hey, I'll take an endorsement at the end. That was beautiful. Thank
Sure,
you,
this is a great show, man. Yeah,
Mr. Yu. I appreciate you jumping on today and hanging out with us,
yeah,
sharing
of
with the
course.
community. I love bringing just the best people to my community. So thank you for being part of that.
Thank you.
And guys, connect. He's so right. Like this is something that I was struggled with for so many years and was so bad about. And
Hmm.
working out in my life is just embracing community. I've always gone it alone, so I'm trying to grow in that area of my life as well, right? Connecting better with people and having that community. I'm great at like relationships, actually having like a tight knit community. Still working on that in my own personal life. So
Yeah.
some really valuable insights right there, guys. For me, Mr. Yu, thanks for hanging out with us today. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Share this with somebody who needs it and be better tomorrow because of what you do today. The Driven to Thrive broadcast, purpose, growth, and lasting impact for men. Helping men go from living to thriving, purpose-filled, intentional lives. Affiliate disclaimer. MyPillow, like any other source, cycles promos. Because of the extended life cycle of a podcast, the immediate promotion that you heard mentioned in this episode may no longer be in effect when you hear it because you could be hearing this 5 years from when I recorded it. However, as long as MyPillow is a sponsor of the Driven to Thrive broadcast, our show, our promo code THRIVE is always good for up to 80% off your order and free shipping on orders over $75. No matter what you hear in this episode, as far as the current promo, Thrive is always good as long as MyPillow is a sponsor of the show for up to 80% off your order and free shipping over $75.